Did you know that according to the latest research, the risk of death in people who consume more fatty and sweet foods daily is higher? The reason is that some types of food, such as fatty and sweet foods, can cause inflammation in the body, and chronic inflammation can cause various diseases over time. Inflammation causes diseases such as diabetes, cancers, cardiovascular diseases, etc. Now, in this video on Pars Health TV channel, let's see what foods can cause inflammation in our body. Number 7. Soda. The result of a study in Switzerland showed that the level of CRP, a marker of inflammation in the body, in young men who consumed 2 cans of soda per day increased by 109% during 3 weeks. An increase in CRP in the body can increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases and stroke in people. You can use carbonated water instead of soda. You can add some citrus juice to your carbonated water to bring the taste of carbonated water closer to soda. Number 6. Red meat. Red meat and meat products can cause inflammation in the body. Australian researchers have observed that people who eat a meal rich in saturated fatty acids daily are more likely to suffer from diseases such as high blood pressure and cardiovascular diseases than others. Because these saturated fatty acids can destroy the anti-inflammatory properties of good cholesterol or HDL. Our advice is not to completely eliminate red meat from your diet, but it is better to first use more white meat such as chicken or fish in your diet, and then if you want to use red meat more daily. Do not use more than 3 ounces, about 90 grams, of red meat, and also try to use red meat without fat. Number 5. Monosodium glutamate, MSG. In a study, researchers injected this additive into laboratory mice and observed that after the injection, they developed various inflammatory diseases such as type 2 diabetes, liver diseases, and obesity. Although this substance is recognized as safe by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, according to the latest studies, it was found that people who use the most of this substance, about 5 grams, compared to people who received the least amount of this substance. They were about 33% more overweight and obese. Number 4. Sugar and fructose. Natural sweeteners, sucrose, and fructose are 2 types of additives found in the Western diet. 50% of sugar is made of glucose, and 50% of it is made of fructose, while fructose syrup contains 45% of sugar and 55% of fructose. One of the reasons that sweeteners are harmful is that they can increase the possibility of inflammation and, eventually, various diseases. Studies conducted on mice fed a diet high in sucrose found that breast cancer also involved the lungs due to the body's inflammatory response to sugar. In another study, the anti-inflammatory effect of omega-3 was impaired in mice fed a high sugar diet. An increase in uric acid levels was observed during random research on people who consumed carbonated drinks, milk, or water. Meanwhile, the amount of fructose in fruits and vegetables benefits the body. But consuming large amounts of sweeteners is definitely harmful to the body. High fructose consumption is associated with obesity, insulin resistance, diabetes, fatty liver, cancer, and kidney diseases. Research shows that consuming fructose leads to inflammation in the endothelial cells in the blood vessels, which eventually increases the risk of heart disease. Excessive consumption of fructose leads to increased inflammatory markers in mice and humans. Candy, chocolate, cakes, cookies, donuts, pastry dough, and some legumes are rich in sweeteners. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell. Now, let's dive right into the number 3 on our list. Number 3. Trans fats. Trans fats are one of the unhealthiest fats. These fats are produced by adding hydrogen to liquid unsaturated fats, so they become stable and last like solid fats. Vegetable butter contains trans fats and is often added to processed foods to make them last longer. Unlike trans fats in dairy and meat products, trans fats lead to inflammation and various diseases. In addition to lowering the level of good cholesterol, HDL, the consumption of trans fat disrupts the function of the endothelial cells of blood vessels and increases the risk of heart diseases. Consumption of synthetic trans fats will also increase inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein. In fact, the research found that the amount of this protein in women who consumed high amounts of these fats was 78% higher than in others. Studies on healthy women and men with high cholesterol also showed similar results. They increased levels of inflammatory markers in response to trans fats. Chips, fast foods, popcorn, some vegetable and vegetable butter, cakes, and cookies are rich in trans fats. Number 2. Simple carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are harmful to the body. However, it cannot be said that all carbohydrates are totally unhealthy. For thousands of years, ancient humans consumed thousands of calories by eating grass, roots, and fruits, their high fiber and unprocessed carbohydrates. However, simple carbohydrates can lead to inflammation. Fiber is taken from simple carbohydrates. Fiber is one substance that increases the feeling of satiety, controls blood sugar levels, and benefits intestinal bacteria that feed on fiber. Research shows that consuming simple carbohydrates in modern diets will stimulate the growth of harmful intestinal bacteria and ultimately increase the likelihood of obesity and inflammatory bowel disease. Simple carbohydrates have a high glycemic index, and foods with a high glycemic index cause blood sugar levels to rise. In a controlled study on healthy young men who consumed 50 grams of simple carbohydrates in the form of white bread, signs of increased blood sugar levels and increased inflammatory markers were observed. Simple carbohydrates are found in candy, bread, pasta, pastry dough, beans, cookies, cakes, and all foods containing added sugar or flour. Number 1. Processed meat. Consuming processed meat is associated with heart disease, diabetes, and stomach and colon cancer risk. Sausage, bacon, and ham are processed meats. Compared to other meats, processed meat contains advanced glycation end products, formed when meat and other foods are cooked at high temperatures and can lead to inflammation. Among the diseases related to processed meat consumption, the probability of colon cancer is much higher than other diseases. Inflammation occurs in response to stimuli, some of which are difficult to prevent, including pollution, injury, and disease. However, you can have more control over factors such as your diet. To stay healthy, limiting the consumption of foods that cause inflammation will minimize the likelihood of this reaction. How often do you consume these foods? Feel free to share your ideas and experiences with us in the comments section below. If you enjoy the video, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And watch more of our unique videos on the left and right of your screen.